In today's video, we'll be shedding light on some of the common habits that can be detrimental to your charisma. By understanding these habits and making a conscious effort to avoid them, you'll be able to improve your ability to connect with others and make a positive impression. We'll be discussing 7 habits that can make people dislike you instantly. So, let's get started and see how you can improve your charisma and make better connections with others. Number 1. Thinking that you are always right. No one likes being told they're wrong, especially if the situation involves a point of contention. If you have to win and are unwilling to listen or acknowledge other people's views and opinions, it will make many people dislike you immediately. What they didn't tell you is that it makes them feel disrespected and like there is no way that they can trust you with anything important because of how often you disagree. This can lead to an immediate loss of respect for what appears to be a disrespectful person who doesn't know how to listen or communicate in any meaningful way, and also might be an asshole. Number 2. Being consistently rude or disrespectful. One of the most immediate ways to turn people off and make them dislike you is by consistently being rude or disrespectful. This can manifest in a variety of ways, such as using harsh or vulgar language, speaking in a condescending tone, or making inappropriate jokes. When people perceive that you are not treating them or others with respect, they will likely distance themselves from you. Being rude or disrespectful can also be demonstrated through non-verbal cues such as rolling your eyes, sighing heavily or making faces while someone is talking. This can be interpreted as a sign that you are not interested or not taking the conversation seriously. This can be especially damaging in professional settings where respect and professionalism are expected. Furthermore, being consistently rude or disrespectful can also lead to conflicts and arguments. When people feel that they are being treated poorly, they are less likely to be open to compromise and more likely to become defensive or aggressive. This can quickly escalate into an unpleasant situation for everyone involved. In short, consistently being rude or disrespectful can lead to a negative perception of you by others, create tension in your relationships and make it difficult to maintain positive interactions. It is important to be aware of how your words and actions may be perceived and make a conscious effort to be respectful and courteous in all of your interactions. Number 3. Focusing only on yourself. People often find it off-putting when someone only talks about themselves and their own problems. This type of behavior can be perceived as self-centered and lacking in empathy. It can also make it difficult for others to connect with you and make them less likely to open up to you in return. It is important to remember that building relationships is a two-way street, and making an effort to understand and be interested in the lives of others is a key component of building trust and fostering positive interactions. Another aspect of focusing only on yourself is not being genuinely interested in what others have to say. Whether it's in a casual conversation or a professional setting, it can be apparent when someone is not truly engaged in the conversation. This can make others feel unimportant and like their thoughts and feelings don't matter to you. This can cause people to distance themselves from you, and make it difficult to establish and maintain positive relationships. On the other hand, being an active listener is a great way to avoid this issue. When someone is talking to you, make an effort to give feedback, ask questions and show interest in what they have to say. By actively engaging in the conversation and showing that you are genuinely interested in what they have to say, you'll be much more likely to build trust and make a positive impression. Number 4. Complaining too much. Let's face it, most people don't want to be around those who can't stop complaining. We all have bad days, but there's a difference between venting about something that happened and simply complaining for the sake of complaining. This habit will only make you seem negative and bitter, which is not an attractive quality in anyone. Never forget that the world is full of positives. If you're constantly focusing on the negatives, whether they are within your control or not, you are missing out on many chances to enjoy what life has to offer. If there really is nothing positive in your situation and no possible way to change it, for example, a breakup, then try hard to focus instead on what good things might come out of this difficult situation. Ask yourself what lessons this experience will teach you and how they will help make you stronger going forward. Number 5. Being negative all the time. Being negative all the time is one of the most common ways to make people dislike you. People don't like being around negative people, and if you're constantly complaining about everything, it can quickly become a serious problem. Negative people are often perceived as rude or snobby because they don't seem to appreciate anything positive in their lives. They can also be hard to work with because they have a tendency not to give others credit for hard work or ideas, which will frustrate your colleagues or boss quickly if this pattern continues for too long. It's easy for a negative person to come across as ungrateful, and no one wants an ungrateful friend. Being overly critical of others will also cause those around you, your friends and family included, to feel uncomfortable around you and want nothing more than for your negativity, and yourself, out of their life forever. Number 6. Interrupting others when they are speaking. Interrupting others is one of the most common and annoying behaviors, simply because it shows a lack of respect for what someone else is saying. There's a huge difference between listening and interrupting, so don't be that person who talks over others or butts into conversations without being invited to do so. When someone is speaking, Pay attention to their words and body language in order to understand how they feel about what they are saying. If they seem nervous or hesitant when talking about an idea you disagree with, ask questions before jumping in with your own thoughts on the matter. If a friend seems passionate enough about something that he or she can barely contain himself or herself while sharing an anecdote, let him finish before adding anything further, even if you want to get your own point across. If anyone interrupts you when you're making an important point at work or school, or even just chatting, politely ask them if there's another time when it would be okay for them to discuss whatever issue has arisen between both parties, and then stick by this request. Lastly, if someone interrupts another person while speaking directly towards you, politely stand up for yourself by asking them why they felt compelled enough by their interruption, which likely means something deeper than just pure curiosity. Number 7. Being overly critical or negative. You know those people who always have to be right? Or the ones who constantly complain about everything and never seem happy with anything? Chances are, you don't like them very much. This can be a big problem in your relationships with others if you're prone to being overly critical or negative. Here are some tips on how to avoid being seen as one of these people. Don't complain all the time. If something goes wrong or someone says something you don't agree with, it's okay not to jump into negativity mode right away. Try instead to keep a positive attitude and see if there's any way that things might work out better than they did before. You'd be surprised how often this approach works. Be optimistic about life in general, not just when things go well for other people but also when things go poorly for yourself, like when your favorite team loses its game. It may sound strange at first, but try thinking about what could possibly happen next rather than focusing on what already happened before. Then make plans for what actions will help turn bad situations into good ones again. Remember, building positive relationships is all about being aware of how your actions and words are perceived, and making a conscious effort to be respectful and courteous in all of your interactions. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more helpful content. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know which habit you found most surprising or relevant to you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.